Hey guys, this is Paul and this is another video update for Void Destroyer 2. So if you remember, if you watched or if you didn't watch, let's have a little recap. In the last update I introduced the remote interface and that becomes available to you when you capture a base. So this is our captured base, and once you capture a base, when you own a base, you have this additional section of it available to you. When you enter this section, you have the option to initiate the remote interface, which allows you to control the overworld mode, control your fleets, your ships, without actually undocking from the base. So you're actually safe in this base. Unless the base is captured, nothing can really harm you. But you can go ahead and control your assets. Let's find the fleet. There it is. And I can issue orders to this fleet. I can take remote control over it. I can go into ship mode with this fleet, and so on and so forth. So in the last update, fleets besides the player main fleet weren't available. But now, as you can see, this is a fleet. Excuse me. And I can give it a command just like the regular player fleet. I can give it a command to go after this base. Now I enter ship mode. There it is. There's a totally separate fleet from my main fleet. It doesn't matter if this fleet dies. I don't have to worry about that. In fact, what I want to do with this fleet is I want to have them essentially try to take out these defense platforms. So I'm going to tell my arsonist to attack this defense platform. I'm going to tell my little big joys to attack this defense platform. I'm going to tell my rhinos to search and destroy. And I'm going to tell my Drake to attack this defense platform, and tell my pugs to search and destroy. So basically, yeah, fleets, right? Non-player fleets. I think they're a really, really cool idea. I think they're a really cool concept. I've been meaning to do this for quite a while, to have non-player fleets. So you can have that ability to have these huge battles that that really, that can be really huge, because you're not the player. As the player, you're not really in danger, because you are safe in your base. You can send diversionary attacks. You can send suicide missions. You're really free to kind of open that up. All right, so my Drake is getting hammered here. I'm actually going to tell it to defend itself. Otherwise, it's not really going to make it. Let's see if we can do some damage. So again, this is sort of a suicide mission. They have 2 frigates. I only have 1. They have a base. They have defense platforms and things like that. So we're probably not going to really succeed, but this is just for demo purposes. Let's see what kind of damage we can do before dying. There's my Drake firing. It's decided to attack this frigate instead. Let's give it a more direct command. Yeah, it's getting kind of hammered. There's actually a bit of a bug that I need to work at there. But anyway, let's see. Yeah, we actually killed that defense platform. Let's go after this one. Where's our arsonists? Are all our arsonists dead? Yeah, all but one is dead. So let's go ahead. Let's die gloriously to demonstrate. There we go. Destroyed. Back to the little big joy. Yeah, we almost can destroy this other defense platform. Let's see if we're lucky enough, while getting hammered by all these other ships. Yeah, I think we are going to destroy that defense platform. So this is probably a little bit of a too costly mission. Um, but like I said, the whole point of fleets is to have huge battles, sometimes unwinnable battles. And I lost my fleet. That's perfectly all right because I'm safe in the remote interface. You know, that wasn't my main fleet. This was just me controlling that fleet via the remote interface. And, you know, I think that's pretty awesome. Okay, so we demonstrated the use of fleets, but let's now demonstrate how to set them up. And let's walk through a whole bunch of other little things that were added to support the remote interface and support fleets. So again, I'm in my own base. I'm going to initiate the remote interface. I'm going to take a look at a nearby asteroid field. There's a bunch of my ships. So I want to make a fleet here. So first of all, um, let me just say that one of the ways, well, actually, what you just noticed is I selected all these ships. That's one new thing. Before, you were only limited to selecting one ship, either friend or ship or object. Now you can select a bunch of ships. And we'll get back into that in a little bit. But another thing is you can now detach the camera from an object. Before you can do this, there's a few reasons for it. We'll kind of discuss them in a little bit. But now you can detach the camera. You can also toggle autofocus. So if I select the ship, my camera is not going to focus on it. That was added before. So let's make a fleet. So we're going to go ahead and check this little checkbox, fleet leader, and that creates a little star above it. That means this is actually a fleet already. It's a fleet of just one ship. Let's select these other ships and let's tell them, hey, I want you guys to join up with this other ship. And we've created a fleet, so it's that easy. Um, you know, Boy Destroyer is not meant to be a complicated game. It kind of is because of all the different options you have. There's a variety of options, situation, things like that. But hopefully the controlling the game part is pretty simple and pretty logical. Um, and you as the player, you basically just have to remember left click, right click, and every option is on the screen available to you. There's quite a lot of, you know, keys, toggles, things like that. But for the most part, either they're optional or they're more about ship mode and things like that. So making a fleet is that easy. You know, check this checkbox, fleet leader, and then select your friendly units, and then right click on the fleet leader. And then as you can see on the mouse over, we can see that there's a little Big Joy and two Rhinos in this fleet. So not a big fleet, but you know, a little bit of a fleet. So fleets won't be just for base assaults. They'll be just for like easier management. Like here in this asteroid field, I want this ship to patrol this asteroid field. And maybe I don't want them to be all individual ships. I want them to be like a fleet. Maybe I'll add some repair ships to this so they automatically repair this fleet that's not in yet, but that will be. Things like that. So basically fleets are there to make management simpler. You know, instead of like selecting 5 different ships and giving them a command, you select one fleet and give it a command, which should make controlling the overworld quite a lot simpler, especially when it's this is just like a small fraction, maybe not that small, like 1/4 or 1/5 of the entire overworld there. But when it's so huge and hard to manage, fleets will make that easier for you. So there's a few things about fleets that I decided. I decided that combat ships can always join a fleet, but economy ships like trading ships and mining ships can't stack. So you can't stack trading ships and tell them all to trade. It's just something I decided for game balance. Same thing with mining ships, but you can give mining ships combat ships for protection. So there's quite a lot more that needs to be done. Certain aspects aren't in yet. certain aspects are, and we'll keep working at it. But that's the goal. That's the overall goal. So what else? If you notice, when I select this ship, um, I still have a fuel gauge. So this is not my primary ship. This is not my primary fleet. However, now for selected ships, you have access to their primary and secondary burn. You didn't have this before. So there's a little change that just needed to be added that wasn't in. Another aspect you might be noticing is that um, this ship now gives you sensor data. So before, this wasn't happening, where you only got sensor data from your main ship, but now that you have fleets, you can have sensor data from this ship as well. So when you select the remote ship, you get sensor data of that ship as well. The camera, like I said, is can be unlocked now. So when you move it to the extent of the screen, you can unlock it. You can also use WASD. Um, you can, of course, as always, lock it to a ship. What else? What else? There's a bunch of little things that I added, and a bunch of things that I'm still going to need to add. This reminds me, another aspect is you can check owned only here in this contact list, and you only see your own ships here, which actually happens to be a fleet, which I actually have to mark in a better way. I should just say this is a fleet. But that's another thing that has been added. Well, looks like there's a bug. These guys shouldn't be popping up when it's owned only. Yeah, gotta fix that. But that's another little thing added. Quite a lot of other little things. I don't quite remember. I might jog my memory, might go through it. But pretty excited about this update. We're gonna keep going, gonna keep working at it, keep adding functionality to these fleets, letting you manage them, um, letting you hop into the game and blast some enemies. You know, have a lot of fun while your ship is perfectly safe in the base. Another little thing, actually related to this camera being free. If you notice, I can't move the camera right now. I'm pressing WASD. Can't do it. But now there's this checkbox here, lock camera to main ship. This is on by default. So my reasons for, to back up a little bit, my reasons for not letting you do this in the past, not letting you unlock the camera from an object. You know, if I select another object, it always goes to it. I can't unlock it if I don't select anything. It goes back to my main fleet. It's just to make the game simpler for newer players. But once we get to the fleet stage and the remote interface stage, the game needed the camera to be able to be unlocked. So now there's this checkbox here, lock camera to main ship. So for new players, they probably won't see this. They might ignore this. They might not really recognize this. So the game is still simple. But for players knowing what they're doing, they can unlock the camera and you know, have sort of like the standard real-time strategy camera type of deal. So this is our main ship. We can tell because of this little marker, this green little marker. It's also a fleet. You can tell by that star. Let's go ahead and introduce a new ship, a new old ship, the Tug. This is the Tug. It's a ship from part 1. If you guys remember, it's a different type of a mining ship. And instead of shooting up a rock and then taking chunks of ore, this ship physically picks up a rock, and then you can sell it at a base. So this was already possible with these really small mining ships. They would pick up this little tiny chunk of rock, but now we can do this with this Tug, and we can sell it. So we introduced a new ship. We bolstered up a method of mining to make things a little more interesting. Not just having one method of mining, and a new method of selling rocks. So the cool thing about this is not just the new mining method, but it just kind of creates this sort of a separate aspect. There we go. We're carrying this rock. Um, we can go ahead. This is part of our fleet. We can go ahead and go to a military base. Let's avoid that gate there. Go ahead, go to a military base there. Our mining ship is right behind us. We can dock with the military base. We can sell that rock. So the cool thing about this other alternate mining method is that it has its pros and cons. So the pro is that it's much faster. The ship doesn't have to blast off chunks of rock. The con is that you can't have a transport ship grabbing the cargo pod and ferrying it to the base. If you remember, in a previous update that was added. So it's kind of cool. It's faster by itself, but it's slower with additional ships. So it's faster in an asteroid field, which might be really important if there's pirates in an asteroid field. You can just zip in, zip out. So now this commerce screen has this tug, and now we can sell this oroid for 40,000. It's quite a big rock. It's about the equivalent of 2 cargo pods. Go ahead and go and sell it. So this tug can't buy any kind of cargo pods because it can't buy a rock, but it can certainly sell it. So again, it's a little different method of mining. It's got its pros and cons. I'm pretty excited about it. We're going to continue adding ships to the game, adding different options, different possibilities to make the life of the game a lot more interesting. Keep extending it for you guys to enjoy. And we'll keep going. We'll keep working on fleets and things like that, making them more robust. All right, guys, thank you for watching. I hope you're enjoying the game. Thank you very much for your support, for your feedback, and I'll talk to you guys later.